Kevin Herter to get it in. Everyone standing at State Farm Arena. Herter looks. Plays it into Trey. 2 seconds, one. Trey's floater. Good! With .1. And the Hawks are going to win this game.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
You are now listening to the Hawksbeat Podcast with your host, Ida. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome to another edition of the Hawksbeat Podcast. I almost forgot to put myself into the show, but welcome. A very special Hawksbeat Podcast, if I do say so myself. I know you guys have been seeing the social media post. I've been trying to hit it everywhere, but this is show number 200, and we are very excited, man. We are very excited. So we are going to talk a little Hawks. We're going to take some time to smell the flowers, if that's all right with y'all. We're going to take a little time to smell the flowers, man. 200 episodes is something that we're very proud of, and yeah, man. So if you're a Hawks fan and you got some Hawks questions, go ahead and shoot them to me. I'll try to get them I'll try to get them in. I do have some mailbag questions that I plan to get to, but we're going to get some Hawks questions. I have some special guests that are slated to come by. They may come, they may not. If they don't, it's all good, man. So again, thank you guys for checking out the Hawksbeat Podcast, show number 200. This is season 8 of the show. Actually, this is season 4 of the show. So let me do this. Let me get rid of the housekeeping, and then I'll get into the whole background of the show and the history and all that jazz. So a big part of what we do is on the social media front. So we would love for you guys to connect with us on our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you connect with us on those platforms because, look, that's how we get down. A lot of the stuff that we do, a lot of our content is social media based. So on Twitter, you see the little thing down there at Hawksbeat. That's how you get at us on Twitter and Instagram. We're also on Facebook for the Facebookers. So all you have to do is type in the Hawks Beat and you will see our page. Go ahead and click that like button and you'll be abreast to everything that we have going on. So make sure you connect with us on those platforms. We will greatly appreciate it. Also, the podcast. Who can forget the podcast, right? We're streaming on every podcast platform just about, man, from iHeartRadio to Stitcher to Spotify. We're on all of those, but we would love for you to go by Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star rating. Let us know what you love about the show, what you hate about the show. Just make sure you give us 5 stars. But yeah, man, we really appreciate the 5-star ratings. They really help us out in the podcast community. Feel free to jump in the chat if you like. If you do jump in the chat, you will have to get behind my son. My son has already checked in. There goes my guy, EJ, checked in from YouTube, says hi. That's my guy, man. So shout out to EJ. Just got back from Taekwondo practice. So, yeah, man, we got a green stripe in the house, and we're very excited about everything that he has going on. So, Hawks stuff, man. Listen, let's get to it. Hawks are on a 2-game win streak. They are currently 6-9. which is good for 12th in the East. 12th in the East. But it's crazy because there's a lot of stuff going on as far as Eastern Conference is concerned, the Western Conference. It's still very early. A lot of people have sent me messages. Yo, E, is it time to panic? Is it time to panic yet? And my answer to that is a resounding no. No, it's not time to panic. However, you do need to start winning some ball games. You do need to start winning some ball games. That road trip you guys were just on, the Hawks were on, was a monster. And listen, I think it's problematic that the Hawks didn't win any of those games. But yeah, man, there's still a ton of basketball left. And just looking at the standings, you got the Wizards, Bulls, and Nets at the top in the East. Who thought the Wizards and Bulls would be up there? I didn't. You got the Heat up there at number 4. The Cavs are 9-6. They're playing good basketball. The Knicks, shout out to all my Knicks buddies. Really hype over their team. They came out the gate on fire. Then you got Philly, Charlotte, Boston, Toronto. Milwaukee is 6-8. And it's funny because their fans are asking, should we panic? So I will just say this. And I told a buddy of mine this. I said, typically, I don't even really put any stock into the regular season until around Christmas, right? You look and see where you are around Christmas time. And then if you don't like what you see, then it might be time to panic. But not even still, because that's still not even really the halfway point. But Christmas is a good spot to look at to see where your team is at. And I will say this, as far as the Hawks are concerned, they're 6-9. It's well documented what happened last year, right? 14-20. They weren't performing the way they thought they should. They make the coaching change. Nate McMillan comes in and they start playing like gangbusters, like just playing off the chain. And I will say this, just because you did it last year doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do it again this year, right? It's tough. It's tough to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's tough to get to the finals. It's tough to win a chip, man. Like, to be honest with you, it's really hard. So you really want to get out the gate good, and you want to cash in as many of these W's as possible. So while I would say it is not impossible, I would say it's not likely, So the Hawks, and here's what I told somebody the other day. They were asking me, about the Hawks record. They're worried and everything, and I get it. Like, I get it, right? You're 6-9. And my thing is this: the schedule that you had in November might be the toughest part of your schedule as a whole. Like, I'm like looking down the schedule. I don't think you have a stretch where you go through a gauntlet like you did in like that West Coast gauntlet you just went on. Think about it. You went to Utah, Phoenix, Golden State, Denver, Brooklyn. Like that road trip was just a mess. Now, I will say this. Now, typically, you would like to win some games that you're not supposed to win. And I think that they weren't the favorite in any of those games, but you want to win at least one or two of those, right? You want to win a couple of those, and you want to win the games that you're supposed to win. Right? You want to win the games that you're supposed to win. I like the game last night when you had the Orlando Magic coming in. The Orlando Magic is a team that you're supposed to beat, and you beat them. So you have a nice little home stretch coming up as far as this week is concerned. You have, let's see who we got next. You got the Boston Celtics tomorrow. You got Charlotte coming in. You got Oklahoma City on Monday. Those three are 3 winnable games. I will say this, though. Charlotte is looking really good. They're looking really good with LaMelo Ball and those guys looking really, really good. So The Hawks aren't, it's not time to hit the panic button yet, guys. I'm telling you, it's not that time yet. And there's still a ton of basketball left. So there you have it as far as the state of the Hawks. We are celebrating 200 podcasts. This is our 200th podcast. So we are celebrating the fruits of our labor, man. Celebrating the fruits of our labor. I have some guests that are slated to come in a little bit later, but I really, as I thought about it, I'm like, yo, like 200 is pretty dope. Like I should do something kind of like, kind of different, kind of special. I haven't done a live pod in a while, so I was like, yo, I have a live pod, invite some of my friends, some of my peeps over that, that have helped me along the way, have had me on the radio shows, and just kick it with them, show them love, you know what I mean? Because I'm going to tell you this, you don't get to any place, any elevated place without somebody helping you, right? You don't get anywhere without the help of others. And I want to, my wife is around here somewhere, but I got to get her on the podcast. I got to at least let y'all see the face, let her say hello, because she is the main reason why I am able to go out and get content, while I'm able to attend these games, while I'm able to do everything that I have been doing for the past 8 seasons. And it's got to start with her. Like, as far as like, if I had to do like a thank you checklist, it's got to start with her. So the Hawksbeat started 8 seasons ago. This is my 8th season covering the Hawks as a NBA credentialed media member. And I'm not going to go into like all the details of how it started, but I didn't actually start the podcast until season 4. So I'm like four seasons in, I'm like, yo, I should do a podcast, right? Like I had the experience of doing radio and stuff. And I always thought like, yo, I should do a podcast because I wasn't doing a lot of writing. So I started the pod at like season 4, and I didn't really have no I didn't really have no rhyme and no schedule about how to podcast. I just was like that, like I was just podcasting off of vibes. Like, yo, we gonna podcast? Let's throw a podcast out. Right. First season, I think I did like 13 or 14 podcasts. And I was just like, yo. And as I started to kind of like develop the craft and like learn a little bit about what the hell I should be doing, I was like, yo, most podcasts that are successful have a schedule, Think about the podcast that you listen to. On Monday, this podcast is going to be out. On Tuesday, this is going to be out. Wednesday, so-and-so. You know to expect a podcast after a game. So I had to shift a little bit, right? So you fast forward until season 8, which is really season 4 of the podcast. We shifted it a little bit. And last season was the first season that I shifted the format to doing a post-game podcast. So all of our podcasts now are 95% of them, right? Because, listen, when they were on the West Coast, your boy wasn't going to podcast until 2 or 3 in the morning. That just wasn't going to be the move. But for the most part, at the end of a game, a podcast is coming. You wake up the next morning, you're going to have the Hawksbeat Podcast sitting right there, ready to be listened to. So last season, I think we shot out like 90 podcasts. So it was a different grind, but I mean, we saw the results. Like we saw the numbers go up. We saw all of that good stuff. And it was dope, man. It was really dope. So that's kind of like the short history of the Hawksbeat Podcast. And I know you didn't ask for that, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because celebrating 200 podcasts, and we're just really excited about having the longevity. We're excited about those who have listened, all of those who have ever retweeted any of our links, reshared them, give me feedback. We appreciate all you guys, man. So we'll do this. I have some mailbag questions that I'm going to kind of jump into as I wait for my guests to come in. Probably be here in another few minutes. If you have a question, hit me in the chat and I'll try to work it in. But I want to go right now to some of our mailbag questions. And if you're on Twitter, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Hawksbeat. Some folks hit me up and shot me some mailbag questions. And so let's go ahead and tackle some of these. If there's a question that you want to answer, go ahead and hit me in the chat and I'll see if I can get to it. But the first question, and my apologies, I wanted to put down your Twitter name of who asked me the question. I forgot. All of these questions are from Twitter. I might have some questions. I'm gonna check my IG to see if I got some questions from IG and Facebook, but most of these are from Twitter. First question, it says, is this the year that John Collins makes an All-Star team? Good question. Good question. I will say this. You have a lot to do with that if you're a John Collins fan, right? Like, a big part of what these guys do and how these All-Star games are made up is the fan vote. So if y'all want John Collins in there, y'all got to get to the polls. Y'all got to vote. It's easy. Like, they got so many different ways you can vote now. Like, you can vote on your phone like 2 or 3 times a day at different devices. Like, I think you really have to make a concerted effort. And I think the Hawks will have to make a concerted effort to really try to get John Collins in there. Do I think that John Collins is an all-star player? I think that he can. I think he's kind of a fringe, like, all-star guy. I think he's been one of the most consistent pieces for the Hawks this season. I think it's tougher to make it in the East as far as the front court is concerned, right? Because you got Giannis, you got KD, you know what I'm saying? Like, them dudes are going to be there. And, it's just certain guys, Miles Turner's playing out of his mind. You got a lot of guys that are just, really good in the front court. As far as Trae Young is concerned, I know this wasn't a question, but Trae Young should be an easy starter for the East this year, right? No Ben Simmons, even though his all-star stuff can be seen as questionable. And I'm not going to bang the dude. I'm not going to bang him. But, no Ben Simmons, no Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Like, who you going to start over Trae in the All-Star game? I don't know. I mean, I think Trae and probably Bradley Beal will probably be your starters in the East. Maybe LaMelo makes it. Maybe LaMelo gets it. I don't know. But to answer your question, is this the year John Collins makes the All-Star team? If I was shooting at percentages, I would say probably about 50%. I would say about 50%. I probably just need to see a little bit more of the sample size, see how he does, and we'll go from there. So appreciate the question, and my bad again, man. I forgot I was supposed to get the Twitter name who asked the question, but I forgot. My bad. I had a busy day. Next question, and again, we're just going over a few mailbag questions, and then I will hit your questions. If you have any questions, man, just hit me in the chat. But let me do this. Let me take a pause from that. I think I got one of my guests on in the back room. Let me see if I can bring him on. This guy has been tremendously good to the Hawksbeat Podcast when I had my radio show, Game Time Radio. This dude is just been utterly responsible and tremendous for the help that he's given us and sharing his platform. And he was one of the first people I contacted to see if he can get on. Let me see if I can bring him on. My guy H.O. from Bankhead. There he goes. The purveyor of the Sports Roundtable show. H.O., what's going on, my guy?
Man, what's going on?
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother. I just wanted to come on and talk with you real quick, man, and just show some love, man. This is episode 200 of the Hawksbeat Podcast, man. And I thought, who else should I come on? Your name definitely came to the top of the list, man. H.O. has had me on his radio show for the longest time. I don't even know how far we go back, man. But we go back pretty far, my man.
Yeah, we go back pretty far. And listen, congratulations, 200 episodes. Whew, that's a long time.
Yeah, man.
That's a long time.
I appreciate you and Hancock and the crew, man. And you guys just always showing me love with the Hawks Report, man. Y'all let me come in and do my thing, man. I wanted to come on and just let you know how much I appreciate you guys, man, and continued success to you guys, man. Now, how long you guys been doing? Because you guys are pretty long in the too, man.
Yeah, we 2013 was we started podcasting then, and you talked about steps earlier. We elevated to internet radio, then we finally got on to the dial, and you just got to keep grinding. It's been great. Next year will be our 8th or 9th year. I can't even remember at this point,
Yeah.
but it's been the grind. It's been a grind for sure.
And I'll say this, man, like people see like when you do radio or when you cover games and stuff, I don't think the average person understands the amount of grind that goes into it, especially for kind of like the independent guys like us who don't have the ESPNs behind their name and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
You got to have a certain level of hustle and want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a grind to it, man.
Yeah, you got to definitely have the passion, because I get some loyal listeners ask me, do you really look at all of the college football games? Do you really look at all of the NBA games? And I'm like, fortunately, it's me and a couple of co-hosts, so somebody watched it. If it wasn't me, somebody watched it.
Yeah.
Like now I'm sitting here watching the Duke game, college basketball season. Now we're watching who will be the next NBA stars, going to the league for next year. So I'm watching the game here now, which will prompt me to a question, once we get into it, for you here pretty soon.
Yeah, man. And it's like, you have to take the craft serious. And that's one thing I've always done from day one is like take the craft serious. Like folks don't want your opinion on the Hawks if you ain't watched no games, if you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I be at these games. Yeah, I be looking at box scores and numbers, and I do draft coverage. I hate doing draft coverage, right? Like, but I do it. I get in there, I watch videos, I break down film. It's all part of the grind, man. What question you got for me?
Well,
I was Dookie.
No. Well, okay. I guess it would be. We see Hunter goes down again. This is another chance for Reddish to really show people. He's had this opportunity even at Duke when Zion Williamson went down. He had a game-winning shot against Florida State back in college. Hunter went down last year. It was an opportunity for him to do that. But who do you think Nate would actually give the opportunity to? Will it be more Cam Reddish, or would Jalen Johnson get a little bit of a look? Based on his summer league play, it seemed that he kind of opened some eyes. So I just wanted to get your opinion about Jalen Johnson and what's his opportunity like since DeAndre Hunter is out for a minute.
Yeah, good question, man. And I'll say this, man. I like the Jalen Johnson kid. I've covered a couple of his College Park games, the 2 games that he's played. Saw his summer league game. As far as opportunity, he's buried. Like he's buried in that roster, and it's no shade to him. Nate McMillan is an old school coach. He's very similar to Bud in that realm where they play the guys that they are comfortable with, right? That's why a guy like Solomon Hill gets minutes, because you know what you're going to get with Solomon Hill. You know where he's going to be. So he may not be the best shooter, but you know what you're going to get defensively. And so he's buried on that list. Will he get his turn? Yeah, but he's going to have to wait and carry some bags and do this. So unless he does something tremendous that says like, I have to play this guy, he's going to be buried on the depth chart behind some of those other guys. But as far as opportunity, Cam is going to have all the opportunity in the world with DeAndre out. Cam he's behind Herder in the depth chart. Herder's going to get the main line share, but Cam is going to have his opportunity. And Cam needs to tap into that consistency. Is what everybody has been looking and waiting for him. Yeah.
How is Jalen looking in practice? What is the word on the street for these guys in practice, especially when somebody like Hunter goes down? So we saw the Braves, and when Acuna went down, we saw how some guys stepped up, like Austin Riley and some of the guys that they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
So can the Hawks take a page out of the Braves book and not only just Cam Reddish? Let's not, I heard you talk about John Collins. If this is an opportunity for John Collins to cement the contract that he got and make the All-Star team and lift his points per game average up, is this an opportunity for him as well? Not just the guys on the wing, but supposedly your second best player.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to have more opportunity. And I think that even what you saw last night with the Magic game, it was evident that DeAndre Hunter wasn't in the lineup as far as defensively guarding on the perimeter. Their defensive guarding on the perimeter has been poor this year, really poor, even when Hunter's been out there. So I tell you, one way for Jalen Johnson to get on that court is to bust his tail defensively. If he does that, Nate ain't going to have no choice but to play him. But, I don't think rookies really come in understanding that that's what it's going to take for them to get, playing time and more things like that. But all of those guys are going to have tremendous opportunity. There will be a little bit more shots there. Everyone's going to have to step up in DeAndre's absence. I mean, I hate that he went out, but that's just kind of how the ball bounces sometimes. But I think they'll be fine. Like I said, with John Collins, I think it's probably 50-50 that he makes All-Star team this year. He's been playing really good this year, though. Been playing really good. And I've liked what I've seen out of Collins, man.
I know I asked you this question on the show the last time you was on about Trey, his competitiveness when Steph dropped 50 on him. He comes back against Milwaukee and almost dropped 50 on them. So do you attribute that to his competitiveness, trying to keep up with Steph, or just he understands that he's an all-star at this particular point, just trying to cement his rank in the NBA East?
Yeah, so Trey gets it. Like, Trey knows what's going on, right? Like, he knows what time it is. So you knew a big game was coming soon after Steph did what he did. Not necessarily on that level, because only Steph can do what Steph does, right? And Steph does just crazy, silly things that are just crazy. You know what I mean? And so you knew a big game was coming from Steph. I mean, from Trey, and that's the type of player Trey is. He understands the moment, he understands the spotlight and everything. So it was just good to see them get back in the win column and see him have a really big game like that the other night, man. He really had it going.
Yeah, I agree. It looked very, very good. Very Stephish like, and he looked good last night as well.
Yeah, definitely, man. But man, I appreciate you, man, for all the times letting me come on to your platform talking about the Hawksbeat Podcast, man. I appreciate you guys. Let the folks know when and where they can find the show. All your social media and all that jazz, man. Let the folks know where they can find you.
At SRT Radio is all social media. We go live each and every Wednesday, 7 to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can search SRT Sports Talk Radio on Facebook and find us there. Please go like the page. You can get the inside look. We in studio every Wednesday. Come on in and join the fun. But on social media, we on Twitter, we on IG and Facebook at SRT Radio.
My brother, I appreciate you, man. Tell Hancock and the crew I said what up, man, and we'll chat soon, man.
All right, appreciate it, bro. Congratulations, 200, baby.
Thank you, sir. Right. Yeah, man, my guy HO, man, really, and that's big, man. That's big as far as like talking about having an amount of longevity and talking about getting to certain milestones. You got to have people that's going to help you out. And you have to have people that will share your platform, share their platform with your platform. That's the only way you're going to grow. It's the only way you're going to grow. So we appreciate the SRT Radio crew for helping us out and always been just tremendously good to the Hawksbeat Podcast, man. We appreciate them. Let me go ahead and grab another one of these mailbag questions. And again, if you have a mailbag question, let me check the comments. If you have a mailbag question as far as the Hawks are concerned, or we'll do this. If you got a mailbag question about as far as the podcast, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Shoot me a shoot me a question about podcasts, and I'll let you know. I'll try to answer that for you. Next question. Do you see the Hawks extending Cam if he stays healthy this season? Ooh, good question. Good question. Now, I'll tell you this. Cam Reddish is probably the most polarizing player that the Hawks have on both ends of the spectrum. There are folks that love Cam Reddish, that will go to bat for Cam Reddish, win, lose, or draw. And there's some folks that can't stand Cam Reddish. And I don't have one way or the other. I really like the kid. He's a nice kid, has a great smile. I love to see him play well. But there are holes in his game, and there's certain things that Cam has yet to accomplish. He's still waiting to tap into that consistency that we've been waiting for. Started the season off pretty well, kind of tapered off a little bit, and now we're kind of trying to see, okay, what is he really going to be? Still needs to improve his ball handling. His passing needs to get better. Going to the hoop. That needs to be a little bit better as well, finishing at the hoop. So to answer your question, do you see the Hawks extending Cam if he stays healthy? Oh, that's a good one. And I'll say this. I need to see more. I think that this is a big year for Cam, though. I think this is a big year for Cam. And that question can't be answered right now, if that makes sense. It can't be answered right now because I think that Travis needs to see more. He needs to see what Cam is going to do this season. Hopefully you get a full healthy season out of him. And I think he needs to see what he's going to do in DeAndre's absence, where he has a little bit more opportunity. So I think that's a wait to be answered later at a later date. I'm sorry I can't answer that right now. If he stays healthy, I think there's a good chance that they retain him. I think if they retain him, they can probably do it for cheap, But look, man, everybody got paid. Everybody got paid in the offseason, and there's no guarantee that, Travis is going to keep handing out paychecks. Some going to give with the money, man. So I don't know. Got a good chance. But I have another guest that is going to come on with me, and this is a very special guest to me because she, although we fight sometimes like brother and sister, I love her to death, but she is actually the co-host of my other podcast that I run, the ATL Dreaming Podcast. She runs Chicks into Sports, which is a global empire. And I'm going to bring her on. You guys, if you guys seen any of our stuff with the ATL Dream Podcast, I'll bring on my lovely co-host, Yakiri.
Hello. Hi.
There she goes.
Yes, congratulations. I had to get my wine glass.
Thank you.
200 episodes.
I got water, so we're going to cheers this way. Cheers. Thank you very much. 200. And I wanted to celebrate with my peoples. And I was like, yo, let me reach out to my peoples. And, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess I got to holler at you, Kiri. No, I'm just playing.
I know. Might as well.
But, yeah, man, we go back, man. We've been on each other's podcasts back and forth and this, that, and the other, man. We started the ATL Dreaming Podcast 2 seasons ago, about to go into season 3 of that. Excited about the Atlanta Dream, and they're building a new thing from the ground up, man. But we really just want to show appreciation to Chicks in the Sports, the global empire that is
you didn't.
Chicks in the Sports. That's got like 900,000 Twitter followers.
Whatever. No, not even. But I'll take it. It's in the making. But thank you again. Oh my gosh. I again had to come on and tell you this is so big. 200 episodes. Wow, man. I mean, amazing.
First of all, I got to give myself kudos because it's hard to keep track of podcast numbers. And when I was doing the numbers, and to be honest with you, it's probably a little bit over 200 because I think some podcasts got deleted. And so in season 1, when I was doing podcasts, I was using another platform. and I was using the free version. You know how it is. You go from
Of
platform to
course.
platform, trying to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I only had a certain amount of memory, so I had to delete some podcasts to make room for the others on the back end. And so I may be at like 205, but we're gonna celebrate 200 right now, man. It's just, it's just a good feeling, and it's been dope covering games with you and talking sports, and it's been dope, man. It's been a good ride, man.
Same here. Same here. I have nothing to say bad, even though my little printing machine, I couldn't get onto this platform, so I had to go back to my old. But you helped me after. You helped me after.
So I was talking with my guy HO before you came on, and we were just talking about the grind of the independent media brand person like yourself and like myself, and how we don't have the ESPNs and the athletics and stuff behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And like we have regular people stuff to do, right? Like we go to games, like we've been to work that day, right? Yeah. We've been to work. Before I did this podcast, I just got in from my son doing Taekwondo. We have real life things. So like, tell me a little bit about like the hustle it is to like get this thing off the ground and get it going and keep it sustainable.
Oh my gosh, the hustle is real. The struggle is real. At times you do feel overwhelmed. At times you do want to just give up on things. But I guess the thing about it is I love what I do. Okay. So when you love what you do, yeah, you got to. You don't care if you don't make no money off of it. I mean, that's just the will. You love what you do. And I absolutely love what I do. And against everything, if you don't love it, then you're not in for it. You're not willing to put in the effort, because it's been times where I have covered a whole game from 9 o'clock all the way to midnight. It's been times I jumped from one game, and then had to go to the Hawks, or had to go, it's been so much stuff that you have to do. And like you said, go to a 9 to 5 sometime. And like right now, shout out to my son, he's back. He graduated from the military, from the Navy, then at midnight. So, his time, my time, I said, look, gotta do this podcast for my boy. Just hold on to it. It's so many sacrifices that you make. But in all in all, it's worth it. It's worth it. I love it.
And we kind of touched on this as well. Like, a lot of people see like us at the games, and they see you doing this and that, and they think they want to do it, but like, you don't want to do it, because if you wanted to do it, you would do it, first of all. And number two, like, and I'll say this, like, as people who have had interns.
Oh gosh, interns without cameras,
and had interns that have interns that come to you and be like, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to get in the games, I want to do that." But like, when it's time to get down and like do the work, like, okay, well, if you're going to do this, you have to dress a certain way, you have to be here at a certain time, you have to be here. There's a level of consistency that you expect, and then they fall by the wayside and they're like, "Yo, you didn't really want to do this, right?"
Thank you.
Whenever people talk to me about like, "Yo, how can I do this?" I always ask them like, "Do you really want to do this?"
To do it.
Because if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. Like, you're not going to do it with any level of success, right? You're not going to be successful. Like, people have told me like, "Yo, how do I get in with the Hawks?" I remember I told somebody, I'm like, "Yo, here is how you do it." I was like, "Here is the person to email." I gave them cliff notes of what to say in the email, how to introduce yourself. How are you viable? How are you authentic? And like, they didn't do it. Like, they still kind of,
right.
Like,
and still
you don't
looking
really
crazy.
want to do
it. and you know what? But you didn't touch on that one point. It probably came easy for you because, you're Ed from the Hawksbeat. You're Ed. But for me, it took like quite a few seasons for them to really acknowledge and see chicks in the sports actually covering games and say, okay, we'll give her a chance. But I had a whole bunch of no's. Do you understand? Like, I got so many no's in the beginning. I think the Atlanta Dream at one point told me no. I was like, what is happening? But I kept going and I kept going, and the goal is you have to keep going. A lot of people don't want to keep going. A lot of people take that no and be like, I'm defeated, no more. But here's the thing about it too. Media is so vast and so wide. You have options. If you want to do sports, do sports. If you want to do entertainment, do entertainment. It's
Yeah.
so many different arenas to the media world. But my arena, I just love what I do. I love sports, and this is where I get my niche from. This is it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's it's difficult because like you're granted a great opportunity, and like I'll never like the experiences I've had like over the past 8 years have just been like 8 seasons for the Hawks have been tremendous. Like it's been tremendous, and to think that like we get to do this like for free.
Right.
Like, we're going to all these games for free. You know what I'm saying? We're not
Yeah.
paying for parking. We're not doing nothing. And it's like the experience sometimes is the payback. You know what I'm saying? Like I have wealth of experiences from Hawks game, from that time I saw Allen Iverson, that time, we'll go back and forth about that, to that time that I was talking to Walt Frazier before a game, like over like in the pregame meal, there's certain moments that I will never forget. The run-ins with Dominique, like that's still like,
all the time, right?
Yeah, like that's
Mutombo.
Dominique. Yeah, Mutombo, all them cats. We just be down there chilling. You know what I mean? But it's been super dope, man. And I'm just really appreciative of the journey. And that's why for like Show 200, I just wanted to have my folks on and just kick it with them a little bit. I tried to give our girl Jamila on. She wasn't able to make it, but she's one of the people who was instrumental in getting me in. And well, not really getting me in, but just kind of showing me a little bit. Oh, here's what you got to do. Here's where you got to part. And when I came in, I was like on her, like, okay, where are we gonna go? Because it's intimidating. It's intimidating to cover a game if you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do. You just sitting there like, I ain't finna ask no questions.
Right.
You know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know what to do. But I will say this, and I've probably never told anyone. The very first time I covered the Atlanta Dreams, where the broadcasters sit on the floor? I was down there. I was like, I'm here. I was in the wrong place. It was the most embarrassing. And it was before Dan. And the guy was like, I was like, what did I? Oh.
Yeah, you're in the wrong spot. We're about to take your card in your access.
And I think they did. That's why it took me a minute to get back with the dream. But it's all about, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Sometimes you are going to make mistakes, but overall, you got to keep going. And I commend you. 8 years. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you've had some bloopers in your life.
Oh my God. And it's funny, and I'm about to let you go in a little bit, but we always talk about like when we used to do the post game recaps and stuff, and we would be like, oh, today, we used to we'd be on the floor, and you used to do them too. Me, you, Raphael, Rev, like we was all down there doing our post game recaps, and it was just like you're trying to do it to look good, right? So you're not really reading off a paper. You're trying to do it all off the top of your head. You mess up, and you're like, oh crap, you're cussing, you're good. I'm just like, oh man, I messed up. But those were fun days, and I didn't even realize. Like Raphael's like, yo, man, you the reason I started doing post game recaps. I'm like, yo, I didn't even know.
Really?
Like, and then
That is
Rashad and all those guys, Malik and all them cats. And so when when we see our young pups like Malik and Nia, I always try to give them a word of encouragement, like, hey, because I remember Nia would be so frustrated and be cussing and stuff. I'd be like, yo, here's what you gotta do. Break it down. When you're talking, just break it down into segments. And so like you're processing it easier as you like compartmentalize. And now Nia is just blown up. Like she's got her own show with Nike. Like I'm so super proud of her, and Malik is doing his thing. Like, I'm proud. Like I'm just proud of like the journey, like just meeting the people. I'm proud of the journey, man. And you've been part of that journey, man. So I decided to let you come on and stay with that. Yeah.
You have to tell the people how we first met, because everybody can't take all of this personality. I think I was just being Carrie, and you gave me that look like. Where did she come from? Who is this person?
Hey,
then I rubbed off on you, and you can't get enough of me.
Oh my gosh! Oh my word! And I have problem hiding my emotions and like my facial expressions. So like I wear it. I'm be like what is going on?
What is happening here? What is happening? Yes. Would you like to sit by me, sir? Sure.
Yeah. You're good
But it's
people. I
been great.
appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to continuing this journey, continuing our journey with the Atlanta Dream and the ATL Dreaming podcast as well. But let the folks know, even though you got like 900,000 Twitter followers, let the folks know where they can find Chicks in the Sports, and make sure you go check out the latest Chicks in the Sports podcast with yours truly on it. Make sure you go give that a listen. That was a very good show. She had me talking about hockey and a whole bunch of stuff.
I couldn't help myself. You always tell me to calm down, Carrie, calm down. I get so excited.
But let the folks know where they can get you.
Okay, find me at chicsintosports.com, Twitter, Chicks Into Sports without the S, and Facebook, Chicks Into Sports, and also Instagram, the Gram, Chicks Into Sports. That's where you find us.
Look at that! I even spelled your Twitter name right, because a lot of people want to put that S on the end of it.
I know.
Chicks Into Sport.
Sport.
Don't put that S on there. You're not gonna get them. Don't put that S on there.
Don't you dare, because you're gonna get some fake chicks in the sports. Okay?
Hey, well, I appreciate you, and I'm glad your son is home, so now you don't have to worry me with those tech issues.
I know. I still need your help.
Yes.
We'll talk after the show.
Miss Carrie, it has been a pleasure and an honor as well. Thank you for being a part of this Hawksbeat journey, and I'll see you in our group chat.
Yep. See you soon. Bye, y'all.
Peace and love. That was Yakiri Thomas of Chicks in the Sports, man. I'm playing, but she is really big as far as producing content for women. And, she had a banging radio show for a couple of years, and now she's doing the podcast thing. She is at everything. So this is what it's about to me, man. This is what it's about. 200 podcasts, having a level of longevity. But to me, it doesn't matter about the longevity if you can't celebrate it with your friends. All right? If you can't celebrate it with your people and people that help you get there, it doesn't really, it rings kind of hollow to me. So cats like H.O., Yakiri, Jamila, cats, and if you follow the Hawks, you know who these people are, right? If you know who these people are, I appreciate all of them. And real quick, man, as we start to kind of wind down the show, let me give a what's up to all of the other Atlanta Hawks podcasters, right? So you may think that just because I have an Atlanta Hawks podcast that I don't listen to the other podcasts. Wrong. I listen to all them dudes, man, because even though I've been doing this for a certain amount of time, I still can learn some things from them. I like to hear different perspectives, different styles. So I got to give a shout out to my guy, Brad, who runs Locked On Hawks. He's got well over 1,000 podcast episodes. Shout out to Brad. Rowland does a great job with Peachtree Hoops. Love his podcast. I always check him out. Hawks Talks is a new podcast that I just got onto this year. I don't know how long they've been broadcasting, but I enjoy them two dudes, man. They give the podcast, the Hawks podcasting perspective from a fan's point of view. And I find their listen, it's a good listen, man. I love the emotion that they come with, man. What other ones? Hoop Ball Podcast with my guy Brad Harden does a good job there. ATL in 29 with my guy Kevin Chenard, who's been on my podcast a couple times. All of those Atlanta Hawks podcasts, I can vouch for. Man. So if you're looking for a good Atlanta Hawks podcast, don't just check out the Hawksbeat. Check out all of them as well, man, because they do great work. Let me see if I can get another mailbag question before we start to wind this thing down. Let me see. Boom, data. There it goes. All right, I got another one. And again, I apologize for not getting that. It's really starting to bother me now because I'm kind of a perfectionist. But I got to do better. Question from the mailbag. DeAndre Hunter is eligible for extension. How do you think that will go with his injury history? Good question. I will say this, and my answer is going to be similar to the one I gave for Cam Reddish. the injury is definitely going to factor into his money as far as what they want to give him in the future. I will say that it's going to affect his dollars. It's definitely going to affect his dollars. And the question is, how do I think that will go with his injury? I think that there's still a chance that he could still get extended, but I still think that you're going to have to wait and see what you get out of him this season. Like Cam Reddish, this is a very important year for DeAndre. Very important year for DeAndre. And I think that if he comes back, he's going to have to play at a high level. He's going to have to play at a high level because he's had them injuries. Fair or not, he's had those injuries. And the Hawks, when they come to the negotiation table, they're going to be like, hey, bruh, you remember this time you got hurt? So I think we're going to have to wait and see as far as DeAndre is concerned, but there's still a possibility for a extension. Now, save the best for last. When I talk about the Hawksbeat Podcast and everything that it is, everything that it isn't, I have to bring on the lovely. Come on over here, girl. Come on over here. Come on over here.
Not lovely today.
Speaking to the microphone. She didn't want to come on. But I had to bring her on because, and just speak to this general way.
Okay,
My
I'll
son,
do that.
EJ. This is my lovely wife, Nataya. And again, this has been 8 seasons for me covering the podcast. Covering the Hawks. 4 doing the podcast. And none of it will be possible without this woman beside me. Right? Like, talk a little bit about what it's been like these past 8 seasons of me covering the Atlanta Hawks. And be nice.
Okay. No, it's been good. Sacrifices had to be made, but we did what we had to do.
Right. And the thing about it is, like, people don't understand, like, the grind that goes into it. We talked a little bit about it with some of my friends that came on. Like, we really run this house with, like, military precision.
We have to.
We got taekwondo. We got gymnastics. Yeah. We both work jobs. And, like, trying to fit, like, games in there, it's like, yeah, okay, like, I'll do it. People, they see, like, okay, yeah, he's at the games having a good time. What they don't see is us doing homework with the kids before I go, making sure dinner's out. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Coming home, doing dishes. Like, that's what they don't see, right?
You're right.
Like, the grind. And, like, we grind, like, and it's not just me. It's, like, us together. You know what I mean?
And they don't see you rushing home, fixing dinner, and then leaving to go to the game.
Yeah. Like, when you was in the office, like, we would be tapping, like, all right, boom.
Yeah.
She's home. I got to go. Boom. I got to go to the game. Like, even this year, like, I've been making lunches on the Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Trey Young's on the computer screen, and I'm making like sandwiches.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
right.
So there is a grind to this, a grind to it. But I could not. She is the cornerstone of everything that is the Hawks beat, and I wanted to have my people on, but it begins and it ends with this woman. So I have to say thank you. I appreciate you. I love you.
Thank you.
And I have to give you your flowers, man, because, like, this is, like, that is just, y'all know who I am. I'm not too sappy, but.
Oh, but you can be. No. It's something you love to do. And I want to encourage you to do what you love to do.
Yeah. So thank you, my dear. Thank you for coming on the camera. I know she's not a camera person.
No, not at all.
Thank you, dear.
Bye.
Cheers. All right.
All right.
So,
bye, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think my son, do you want to say something, EJ?
Hi. Go subscribe to my channel.
Yes. Give my son a chance to subscribe to his YouTube channel. Just search Edwin Jackson, and you'll see a whole bunch of kids stuff. We haven't made a video in a while. We got to do a video. We got to make a video. Marvel stuff and a whole bunch of kid stuff. He loves Taekwondo. He's a great kid. And so is my daughter. She's an excellent child as well, but she's over there. She's not getting on camera. So, again, thank you guys to everyone that's checked out episode 200, the podcast. If you've ever retweeted or reshared the shows, We appreciate it. We appreciate you. And we're going to keep on rolling, man. We're going to keep on rolling. Got another podcast coming tomorrow night as the Hawks take on the Boston Celtics. We'll be in the building. After the game, you can expect another podcast, 201 from the Hawksbeat. So, if you guys are to pie, y'all know how we end the show each and every time. God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So, if you don't know him, you better find him and show him some love, because that is all he is showing you. L-O-V-E love. Peace. We out.
Kevin Huerter to get it in. Everyone standing at State Farm Arena. Huerter looks. Plays it into Trey. 2 seconds, one. Trey's floater. Good! With .1! And the Hawks are going to win this game.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
You are now listening to the Hawksbeat Podcast with your host, Ida